That was Otis Williams and the Charms, Hearts of Stone, and then the OJs, Now That We've Found Love. And I'm joined in the studio now by Charles Hazel, who's also known as Sketchman. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Having me on. I'm good, thank you. Not too bad.
You're more than welcome. Where have you come from today, Charles?
I'm based in Sutton, but I'm often in Croydon area, so not too far at all, really.
Hanging about in Croydon?
Yeah, I'm going to go and do a bit of Christmas shopping after and whatnot. So.
Well, that's a good place. There's enough, certainly enough shops to find something for all of the family.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in today. As I say, you've brought your camera with you. What we taking pictures of at the moment? Just us.
So I'm just grabbing a little bit of footage just to throw on the social media websites and whatnot, Twitter and Facebook
And how have you found that as a musical artist? Has that been good for you? Social media? Yeah,
it's not too bad. It's always pretty good to gauge a reaction one way or another, whether it be playing live or on the social media. It's pretty good. It's free after all, so
yeah.
Using everything to our disposal when we're independent and that. So
how would you describe your music, Charles?
Well, historically it's based largely around like bass music, like grime and dubstep, underground music. But just recently, maybe the last couple of years, I've been fusing live instruments with it. So I've been getting away with playing some more like indie sort of band live music nights as well, because I'm bringing along my guitar and loop station and that kind of thing. But it's still largely based around the rap and spoken word. And
how often do you get to perform?
I'm very fortunate. I've got quite a good rapport with a lot of good promoters that they put on events quite regularly. So it's kind of luckily I'm fortunate enough to kind of pick and choose them. Right now I've took a little break from it, but during the promotion for Paramount we did like 20 odd gigs in 2 months or something like that. So yeah, I think the next gig I'm playing will be like a Christmas event. It's Carshalton High Street. It'll be like a light switch on event, Christmas light switch on event, which is on the 4th of December.
Oh, that'd be nice. It's nice to do things in the community, I think.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Should be good.
So with the loop pedal, are you sort of rapping and looping the raps? Are you singing and looping the vocals, or is that all strictly for the guitar that you're using the loop pedal for?
So connected to the loop station is the sample pad, which is drums, and I've got my guitar rigged to it as well. So I'm creating loops of just guitar and drums. I often invite along a good friend of mine, Sam NSQ, who's a bass player, and we put that together. And the vocal so far it's not really being looped, but it can be. So perhaps in the future, something like that.
Yeah, I remember seeing ages ago in Covent Garden there was a busker, and he was beatboxing, and he had a loop station.
Oh wow!
And I hadn't really seen it used in that way before, but he ended up sort of putting down a beat, then he put it down a bass track, and then he started singing in the end, which were sort of 6-part choral harmonies over the beatbox. It was absolutely astonishing. I thought, God, if I ever could go back in time and try and practice to do something, it would be that. Although I don't think my voice would quite reach the heights that his did. But it makes for an interesting show, I think, because you can sort of do so much and bring so many different elements to a performance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that guy sounds super talented if it's all coming from his own mouth, so that sounds brilliant. But for me, typically grime is often the MCing part of grime is largely to do with what reaction you can get from the crowd. We have the thing where it's like a reload. If you manage to get the DJ to reload the track, that means you've done well. You've got a fairly good reaction from the crowd. But my particular sound is sometimes a little bit more wordy, a little bit more lyrical. So I've found that being able to take the music and perform it in these more intimate settings, such as these live music events that are typically more indie based, I've been able to get what I'm talking about over a little bit better than your typical grime rave or somewhere like that. So yeah, that's been working well for me in that respect as well.
Lyrically, because from my little experience of listening to grime music, which sort of tends to be searching on YouTube for local youths performing basically via a mobile phone. Yeah. It does tend to be a little bit sort of violent in the lyrics. Do you find that? What do you rap about, talk about?
My take on it is I've been there and done that. I've said those angry sort of lyrics, but I think it's just because being an adolescent is kind of the perfect platform to vent your teenage you know, those sorts of anger. I'm angry at the world. Those kind of opinions.
Well, it's been going on for years. It's not like these kids are the first people to ever put down a track saying how angry they are. I mean,
of course, yeah. I mean, my opinion is that it is the perfect vehicle to be able to do angry rapping on. But right now, I'm not a very angry person, so my whereas I've probably done that kind of thing, and I'm not saying it won't happen again if I have a bad day. But right now, it's kind of more poetic. That kind of just trying to convey a story, paint a picture with words, that kind of stuff, as opposed to the more angry.
And this might be a bit of a deep question, but because I was just reminded there whilst we were talking of, I think it was President Ronald Reagan during the 80s when NWA were coming out, and he, you know, essentially tried to get the music banned, which only, you know, created more of a media storm and ended up selling even more records because of that adverse publicity.
Right. Yeah.
But he was always saying that, you know, these songs are just going to corrupt the youth, and, you know, we'll all end up in some sort of crazy world if rap continues. Do you think there's any sort of evidence of that? Do you think sort of violent music breeds violent people?
Well, there's two sides to it, really. I think that some of the all too real subject matters of the music that is actually taking place, is happening, and it's just people's way of describing what they're seeing in many respects. So that, in my opinion, that's never going to go away. Like, it's never going to be this squeaky clean image that's a lot of media outlets portray. There's always going to be an underbelly. There's always going to be an underground. And so try as people may to ban this kind of stuff, it's never going to be banned because there will just be other platforms that it can exist on. But I don't know, sometimes people that aren't necessarily living that life that's being spoken about in the lyrics, perhaps they are looking at it like, that looks cool. Maybe I might, you know, get involved in something that they're talking about. But for the most part, I don't think so. I think it's fairly harmless. It's just a lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people enjoy grime music and dubstep music and underground music in general. So
yeah, I think you're right. I think people are only, you know, talking or writing about what their experience is in life. And if your experience is of being in violent situations, then, you know, that is going to come out in your music, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
And personally, I don't think music can ever turn someone violent. I think it could potentially be, you know, part of something else, which is part of something else, which is part of something else. So, you know, the music, the computer games, the violent TV shows, you know, social breakdowns, people online too much, not communicating in real life. And, you know, I think all of that can play a part, perhaps. But I don't think any one band can bring down society.
Right, yeah, of course. And sometimes it's easier to, you know, like the blame, if that can be a scapegoat and it's an easy route for some people, then, you know, sometimes it gets scapegoated, like, oh, it's the you know, it's the music that's causing all this. But no, it's often a deeper rooted problem. It's not going to be the music. That's going to be more of a vehicle to vent your frustrations than anything else.
So in terms of the other stuff that you do, you've got the writing, the production of the music. How do you build those tracks together?
So historically, I've been kind of a producer, more comfortable in the studio, so building it with music software in loops, with plugins, software plugins. So
you're on a laptop here in your bedroom?
I use an iMac. So right. Although it's in my bedroom, it's a fairly quite a good setup. I've been frequenting various different professional recording studios over the years, and I just learned a little bit in each studio and then took it back home, and now I'm just in a place of comfort. I just build it there. And even now I still take it elsewhere. I'm not the best at mixing down or EQing or even arranging, so I do take my bits and pieces elsewhere and have it all cleaned up and mastered afterwards and whatnot, make it broadcast quality.
So what software do you use when you're doing the stuff at home?
My favourite at the moment is Logic.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I just use Logic on the Mac, though I know that various people use Pro Tools and different other bits and pieces too.
Well, personally, I've always found the Mac better, more stable.
Yeah, I mean...
more expensive.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I know a lot of people that do use Windows and whatnot, but yeah, for me it's just the Mac seems a little bit more reliable, and you're good to go. You don't really need to purchase other sound cards or interfaces. Yeah. Like, it seems to be rigged already, just ready to record, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, Macs are really ready to do anything.
Yeah,
I think
right.
Apple, if you're listening, I'm giving you good plugs here. Give me an Apple, please. Let me get rid of my Windows 10 PC. It's driving me insane. How long does it take you to sort of do a song on average, to write a song and get that sort of track laid? I know you say that you take elements to go and be cleaned up and stuff in studios, but having that core track, how long does that tend to take you?
Well, that can be, it can vary really. If it's just me, if I'm just building it myself out of bits and pieces I might have recorded and played in, various different kits sampled on plugins, I can have one song finished in a morning or an afternoon if the inspiration's there. If it's not there, you might get a little bit of a jam with writer's block and whatnot. Then it can take a couple of days to thaw that out, and also there can be some delay. Well, not delay, not like bad delay or anything. But if you're enlisting the help of other people on your track, so you might need to wait until their schedule coincides with yours, kind of thing. So it can take a couple of weeks or something like that in some cases. But typically, what you're talking about, I believe, is just maybe a morning or an afternoon, a couple of hours even, just to throw it together in the Mac. Yeah.
Well, when the inspiration comes, it's there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think it was Sam Smith recently who said it took him 15 minutes to write the new Bond song, and I've listened to it, and I'm surprised it took him that long because it is terrible. It's one of the worst.
Not a fan,
Bond. No. Oh, well, no. I think what it is that I just don't understand what he's trying to say during the sort of falsetto bits. He just kind of I just can't understand the words.
Did you catch the film yet?
I did, yeah. I've actually seen it, I think, 3 times now.
Right.
Because I've got another job for a company called MediCinema. We have cinemas in hospitals.
Oh, wow.
So we can wheel patients in beds into a cinema.
Oh, that sounds
And we
brilliant.
show all the latest films. So, yeah, I've seen Spectre a couple of times. It's good. It's good. It's not as good as the other ones in my mind, but it's enjoyable. Have you seen it?
I saw it, yeah. What I was going to ask is... I kind of felt the same about that Sam Smith track. Like I enjoy a lot of his music, but I felt it kind of the same. But for me, it took on a bit more of a meaning when I watched it with the film. But maybe it's just because I'm a James Bond geek. Like I do like the films; they are pretty cool.
No, they are, and I can't believe now we're going to have a long conversation about James Bond. But it's what surprised me was the sort of the realism which was there in Casino Royale, which essentially was followed by, in my mind, the same sort of tone in Quantum of Solace. It went a bit more sort of camp Bond in Skyfall, just with like the train sort of being ripped off and him jumping in and straightening his tie and those little flourishes that you associate with James Bond. With this one, I just thought it was taking that sort of realism, and I use the term loosely because it is James Bond and he has been in space and dressed as a clown and fallen from a plane with no parachute and still managed to survive. You take that realism out and it's not the Bourne films, it is Bond films. But there's the bit at the beginning when, I don't understand why he starts hitting the helicopter pilot. It would have been much easier and safer if he had just said to him, look, do you mind if we land? Because if we're going to fight in here, it's silly. We're both going to die. And the pilot would have said, you know what? I think I might do that. Thanks very much, James.
Maybe I need to watch it a couple more times.
And there's another bit. And this is because I've seen it so many times. There's another bit where Bond is chasing the baddies in a plane, and he flies so low that the wings break off, and the baddies at no point decide to sort of turn or brake and let this plane, which now cannot be controlled at all, just veer off in front of them, turn around and go back to where they came.
That was a bit far-fetched, yeah. That was a bit crazy, that bit.
There's lots of other bits, like the bit at the end when somehow the man who shall remain nameless, the head of Spectre, who everyone knows is Blofeld, decides to sort of have this amazing thing where he's got pictures up of all of sort of people from Bond's past, all placed in key moments in the old MI5 building. And you think, how does he get the time? Exactly. How has he got the time to do all of that? Where has he found a photocopier?
This is what I'm thinking. It's like all this high-tech equipment, and it looks like he just printed that one off, didn't he? He just printed them couple off. He just found a printer.
He should have had, like a little iPad or something with a picture scrolling through. That would have been more sensible. But we're not here to talk about Bond, although it's very, very enjoyable. What are you doing next with the music? Are you sort of doing more? I know you said you were taking a little break, but you're going to step that up again. Have you got plans for next year? Are you sort of going hard into 2016 in a promotional way?
Yeah, not consciously, just because of the turn of the new year. But so in terms of the break, right now it's just a little bit of downtime to get together the strategy for the second single. I've got an album which is finished called Nothing Is Enough. we just finished promoting, or we're just currently still trying to preserve the interest in the current single Paramount, which is out now on iTunes and all online stores. So yeah, we're just getting together a strategy for the second single, and that's it's likely to take us into the new year. So it'll be another, PR campaign, a video. So likely to be a lot more gigs in the start of the new year, I should imagine.
And where did the Sketchman name come from?
It's crazy. It could be different for different people. In my opinion, it got given to me because as a youth, we were all into graffiti and that kind of thing, and that happened to be my tag. Somebody gave that to me. They said, "Oh, you should be Sketchman." But perhaps if you ask those people, they might say, "Oh, we called him Sketchman because he's always sketching out. He's a little bit crazy like that," or something like that. But these days, I guess it's taken on the meaning. Like I'm in each song, I'm attempting to paint draw the picture out of words. So that's kind of what it is, Sketchman.
It's a nice website you've got as well. I like the sort of the drops of paint everywhere and the squirts from a graffiti canister.
We try and keep it a little bit like tying in with the theme of art and whatnot. Each mixtape's been like kind of aptly named, like the works of art or the Poison Palette, this, that, and the other. We try and keep it that kind of theme as
Poison Palette. That sounds like a good book. And all the little icons that you've got for Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Twitter. Did you do all those as well?
I am quite hands-on in terms of design, but I can't take credit for those. I don't think. I think they're quite they're just PNGs, perhaps just templates,
Okay.
But yeah, I do kind of. I did edit the website, and I try and get as hands-on as possible with the design and the creative side of it.
Yeah, well, I think you've done a really good job. It's
thank you.
It must be hard because there's so much for you to do, isn't there? You've got the sort of promote. Well, number one, writing the songs. Getting them down, getting them to a standard that you feel comfortable sending them out to people in, and then also the website, the promotion yourself, and coming here as well. It must take up a lot of your time. Do you do anything else? Do you have a day job? Or?
I do actually work a day job. Yeah, I work a 9-to-5 job. I'm fairly happy with all of that as well. But yeah, in terms of this kind of stuff, if you didn't enjoy it, it would be the worst kind of 9-to-5.
Yeah,
but just happen to really love it, so it's just kind of not much like work for me at all. I just enjoy doing it. It's kind of more like a hobby that kind of garnered a lot of interest just as a byproduct of the hard work kind of thing. I guess the hours spent on it.
Well, look, Charles, if anyone wants to find out more information, you can go to your website, which is www.sketchmanmusic.co.uk, and you're on Twitter as well, aren't you?
Yep.
Is that just at Sketchman Music?
The Twitter handle is manlikesketch.
Manlikesketch. And then you're on Facebook as well. And
it's Sketchman Music on the Facebook. It's just been verified, so someone's watching what I'm doing, I think.
Good.
Yeah, so it's all good.
Nice. Well, look, I'm really pleased that you came in to talk to us, and please let us know in the future when you're performing, and we'll put out a word on Croydon Radio and try and get some fans coming your way.
Brilliant.
But it's been a real pleasure. Thanks for coming in, Charles. I'm going to play your song now. I'm going to play Paramount, the one that we've been talking about. Can you just tell us a little bit about the song and introduce it?
Yeah. So Paramount is it was firstly a grime song that me and my producer at the time, Mr. Noisy, we made it as a grime song. We put it out then as a free part of a free download. But then Chloe Ray and myself, she's a very talented guitarist in her own right and a songwriter in her own right. We kind of composed this different version of the track. It's out now everywhere online to purchase, iTunes or anywhere else you might purchase your music from. The video is out now also on YouTube. Oh, and also there's a bass guitar on it from Sam NSQ. It's mixed and mastered by Danny C at AIM Studios. So yeah, this is Paramount.
Thank you very much, Charles. Best of luck, and see you again soon.
Thanks a lot for having me. Cheers, Glenn.
Lyrical brilliance can pillage and kill a village of civilians. Similes upon millions, scratch that already written in search of a synonym. Lyrical excellence, when I eat and I count MCs in my excrement. Does that mean that I just spit in an MC that feeds off me like it was guest written? Perfection when you're writing another line but you're tripping on the previous question. Genius, I'm sick but I never sneeze.